Welcome to Gapology Radio with your hosts, Mark Tinas and Brian Brockhoff. This is your podcast covering tactics for creating winning leadership and sustainable winning organizations. Discover more information detailed in their books, Gapology, Imbar, and their newest release, Speed of Purpose. We can be reached at gapology.org, and our books can be found at amazon.com.
Hey everybody, welcome to Gapology Radio. You know, at some time in most of our lives, we start to feel a bit overwhelmed, overloaded with our daily duties. Work life, home life, friends, hobbies, side hustles. They can often add up to a feeling of being consumed by pressure and expectations set by external forces. We're bred to live up to other people's ideals and a view of how our life should be. I'm here to tell you that without a clear purpose and a solid identity, these pressures will take over and completely consume you. Today I'd like to share a blog that I wrote that speaks to a method of bucketing your time so that the things that don't really matter take a backseat to the things that do. This one's called the Everything Else Bucket. The Everything Else Bucket. Discovering the things that are truly important is, well, truly important, and oftentimes truly difficult. This is something that's become apparent recently as I've worked with several leaders. So often we are overwhelmed with multiple and frequently competing demands that we struggle with identifying where to start and where the majority of our time and energy should be applied. The demands become a dark cloud of chaos and stress that sucks our focus into a haze of confusion. How does this happen? Well, many times the chaos is created by others. Bosses, coworkers, peers, family members, friends, etc. But even deeper, the chaos is created by ourselves. The fear of disappointing others, the inability to say no, or just overestimating our personal bandwidth of time and energy can be the root cause of being strong in staying true to our goals and our expectations. So what do we do? If we do nothing, inevitably at some point we will break. So we need to develop a process to minimize the waste and maximize the impact of our time. While many books have been written on managing time, here's a simplified approach that works for me. Try to put the things that you do into 3 buckets. The first is called life and death drama. I think that we can all agree to start here. Begin with the things that are going to dramatically impact the quality of life for other people and for yourself. When I say dramatically, I mean the crucial things that, if not done, could cause irreparable damage or harm. If a literal or figurative fire starts, put it out. The second bucket will prevent life or death drama. Once the fires are handled, how can we prevent them from starting in the first place? That's where we need to go next. We need to look at doing all the things that will proactively prevent the emergencies. In our personal life, this is where family, friends, reading, exercise, and other spiritual, mental, or emotional growth takes place. Hobbies, spending quality time with friends, or eating family dinners together at the kitchen table without the TV on works wonders on our psyche and gives the energy to take on the other demands of the world. In the leadership workplace, this is where training, teaching, hiring talent, setting expectations, providing two-way communication, setting priorities, creating accountability, building commitment, developing a strong culture comes into play. Essentially, Gapology. This is where our time needs to be devoted, as these are the important things that will prevent the fires from starting in the first place when executed properly. And the last bucket is the everything else bucket. Okay, so this is lumping a lot of things together, I know. Perhaps it's a bit optimistic and maybe even a bit silly to think that it all falls into this last bucket. But in the grand scheme of things and in deciding what's truly important, it really does. The everything else bucket must come last, and much of the time it doesn't have to happen at all. This is where the wants, not needs, of other people fall, and where even the time-draining drudge of the internet and television takes place. There is a place for that stuff, of course. I love checking posts and tweets as much as the next guy, but I have to be very strict about when, where, and how I do it. If it impacts in the least bit the other 2 buckets, things get out of balance and start building that dark cloud of chaos and stress. These 3 buckets should be front of mind when beginning our days and our weeks so that we can be strategic and intentional about our actions in order to be effective with our time. We need to make choices. Sometimes they're difficult to make, especially when other people are involved, but they need to be made nonetheless. If we don't make the choice to control and leverage our time, we're making the choice to sacrifice it. Everyone have a fantastic week. We'll talk to you soon.
This has been a Gapology production. Visit us at gapology.org.